Hi Pranay, how are you?
Hello, hi Renu, how are you?
So guys, let's
Yeah.
begin. Today I'm delighted to have Pranay Saboo from Saboo Fine Jewels. And Pranay is going to be talking to us about Burmese Ruby, what makes them special, about their color, their inclusion. So before I begin, I would like to say that, each time I visited Saboo Fine Jewels at the Hong Kong show or also at the Couture show, I have always admired one of a kind jewelry which has been crafted in the best quality of gemstones, which has been cut by the in house artists. So, Pranay, it's such an honor for us to have you and to share all your expertise about Burmese ruby.
Thank you so much, Renu, having me here. And today, this is one of the best platforms I would say to be able to communicate
Right,
with each other in this industry. So, and
right.
especially, I really would like to appreciate the kind of influencing and kind of passion you've had in last couple of years, and with
Thank you,
recent last,
Pranay.
I would say, few months,
Yeah.
houses like Cartier, Bulgari, Sotheby's, Christie's, all
Oh,
you've been doing is a great thing.
I'm doing my
Yeah.
best, Pranay. Thank you so much. Surendra uncle's also here, and so is your father also here. So I would like to extend my gratitude to both of them and to the entire
Thank
family
you.
who's always been
Thank
such a strong support and a well-wisher to me. Let's begin by knowing, first of all, what are ruby and why are they so auspicious?
See, ruby is a gemstone variety of a corundum mineral, and the presence of chromium in the corundum with a extreme heat and pressure under the Earth's surface millions of years ago
Right.
creates that red hue in the stone, and that is termed as ruby.
Okay.
Ruby itself, in India, we call it as manak, and it is one of the most auspicious stones because it's a gemstone of sun, which signifies the leadership, domination, and power.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
because of horoscopical reasons, a lot of people
Right.
wear rubies in their right hand middle finger.
Okay.
So that's the auspicious reason behind it
Oh, interesting to
is.
know. So tell me, are you wearing any rubies for auspicious reason or
Well, no, I'm not a person who wears jewelry, but I love to, have jewelry with me.
about the color of the rubies and what makes them so special?
Rubies are basically, if you're talking about Burmese rubies, especially,
Right.
that's what I know. So Burmese rubies were primarily mined almost 800 years ago, and there are
Right.
records that date almost 800 years that the rubies are being mined in the Burma from particularly two regions, Mogok and Mongshu, which is
Okay.
almost 200 kilometers east of Mandalay.
Okay.
And even from like a lot of long time before in last couple of decades, I
Right.
would say because of the color, the rubies that come out from Burma, they've been always
Okay.
appreciated and collected by the collectors.
Oh, I
Even the
see.
kings, the royal hoods of the older generations used to have rubies on their objects, on their seals, on their shields,
Right.
or on their crowns to
Right.
signify the power of that.
Okay.
And red
Okay.
itself is a very powerful color, and
I'm sure.
and that's why rubies were the only stones available in that quality and near to that color. So it was
Right.
always appreciated.
So explain to us about the color, since you mentioned that they have a special color. So can you tell us that what
Right.
causes the color?
See, ruby has two particular factors from Burma rubies that create the special significance of that color. The body tone of a Burmese ruby is slight purplish blue with
Okay.
a red fluorescence emission inside. The
Okay.
combination of these two things create that special color of Burmese ruby. And the
Mm-hmm.
second thing that combines here is the silk that is inside the
Right.
stone, which
Right.
reflects within the facets of the stone and create that special color. So these are the combinations, and then you get the special range of Burmese in
Right.
colors. For
Mm-hmm.
rubies, there were three special stones which are always in the world, which are known for their
Okay.
special appearance and special, place. So let me
Right.
talk to you about first piece, which was sold somewhere in 2014 in Geneva auction of Sotheby's, known
Mm-hmm.
as the Graph Ruby, which
Okay.
is like an 8 carat ruby, and it's a beautiful ruby that's sold almost for $1 million per carat. Yes, this one on the
Wow.
screen. This piece particularly broke a big record for per carat price of a stone. And there
Okay.
was another ruby as known as the Sunrise Ruby that was
Right.
almost 25 carats, was sold for $30 million, and that was
Wow.
the highest price sold for any colored gemstone till date.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
These stones were special But the
Okay.
best of all, in my knowledge, is the Carmen Lucia ruby that is currently in the Smithsonian Museum, that has the best color and the best brilliance. I would say it is kind of the flawless stone you would ever see in terms of rubies from Burma and they being natural. So
Right.
these are there's no valuation done for this stone yet because it was
Really?
just passed and donated by a businessman to the museum.
Okay, but I have a question that why do we address the color as pigeon blood red? Is there a reason behind that?
Yes, so let me tell you one particular story. What happened? Why it is
Mm-hmm.
pigeon blood red? Because of the special color it has. My uncle, Mr. Saboo, was he was going to Burma from quite few years that period, and he always used to get the stones. And there was a call from some of our Japanese and European customers of that particular color that we want a nicer color which is always deeper red.
Right.
So to explain that, because my grandfather taught my uncle, and that's what the story comes in.
Okay.
So my uncle was sitting with Dr. Parati of GRS, and they were
Okay.
discussing on the color grading. So it was said earlier times that जो बर्मा रूबी का जो कलर है वो कबूतरी
Right.
खून से कंपेयर किया
Right.
जाता है.
Okay.
So Kabutri Khun turns to be pigeon blood. So he
Correct.
suggested Dr. Parathi that why don't you grade this color as pigeon's blood and give it to the customers. There were no labs who actually knew this color exists or this color grade exists. And
Okay.
since then it became common. A lot of our European and Japanese customers started accepting it and they
Okay.
asked for it more and more. And hence, since then, the other labs also started incorporating this vivid red pigeon's blood color. And
Wow.
that's how the story started. See, there are
So,
two sayings. One is
okay.
Indian, I would say,
Okay.
where it is compared to Kabutri Khun, and one
Right.
is Burmese, where it is said that the center of eye of the Burmese pigeon is so red that they
Ah,
compare the color of
okay.
that red to the ruby that are found there.
That's a great family legacy to like know about. So now, Pranay, we would love to see some of your Burmese ruby stones that you have for us.
Sure, why not? Let me show you something first. I would love to show you one of the pieces I have in my hand.
Okay.
It is passed on from generation, I would say, because this was one of the pieces that my grandfather collected. It's a
Okay.
100 carat Burma ruby, and
Okay.
we never thought of recutting it.
Okay.
Because there might be something inside which could be a 10-15 carat gemstone, but because it has a very personal attachment, we just want to keep it as a family treasure.
Can you hold a little closer to your camera, please? We would love to see a.
Sure.
Okay.
The pre-form, I would say it is a
Reform.
cabochon,
Correct.
polished a
Correct.
bit.
Correct.
Yeah. Never finished it because, this is how he bought it. So this is, we collect it and we want to keep it in the our treasure chest, I would say. Owned a beautiful 33 carats, almost 33 carats, I would say, fine ruby, which was one of a kind stone. This is the one I was talking about. So it
Okay.
was beautiful red and the real color to actually
Wow. It's a
it's
33
it
carat.
was a big piece. Yeah, yeah, almost 33 carats. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. So I guess that the owner of this beautiful ruby must be really special and really lucky for the lady to like wear and flaunt this gorgeous piece of Burmese ruby.
No doubt about it. I mean, of course, this was a treat to have, and someone who has it must be very lucky as well.
I'm sure about that. Are these stones yet easily available, or like what's the procedure if one needs to find look for these stones?
See, in Burma, I would say in Myanmar, it's not that easy to get hold of, fine quality stones. But with our experience, with our relationship with the miners we have right now, we still sometimes now and often get a hold of something good. But
Right.
due to a lot of political reasons,
Policy.
human rights violations, and other factors, depleting natural resources, it's becoming
Right.
difficult to get the good material out of Burma. There's always something that comes out,
I'm sure
but
about that.
you need to have really good relationships with certain people to actually have that source.
Right. It's always said that a certificate is very important, especially when you're making an
Right.
investment, of to such high value goods. So can you guide us that what particular section in a certificate should one keep in mind and why are they so important?
For sure. Today I would say anyone who's buying or selling a certificate, and what we practice in our whole industry, the whole trade practices it, that you should have a certificate to support buying or selling of a stone or a piece of
Okay.
jewelry.
Okay.
So like what you're seeing is a certificate from Goblin here. I also have it in my hand. So
Okay.
the couple of things which you really need to look at is that the date of a certificate should be recent one,
Okay.
if you're buying a stone or selling a stone. Secondly, you should focus on the section where it says what is the origin of the stone, where is
Hmm.
it coming out from, what
Okay.
is the treatment of the stone, that is it
Okay.
natural or is it just a heat treatment or further any treatments, and what kind of color grade it has. But
Okay.
again, color grade is something which is always very personal. I might like something deeper and someone else
Fair
might like
enough.
something lighter.
Fair
So
enough.
the important places are these to look at.
Okay. So since you mentioned about treatment, so can you talk to us about the treatments for the Burmese ruby?
For sure. I mean, see, we as a brand always try to focus and try to work with natural stones or just commonly practiced treatment stones, which are done in the industry. Talking about certain treatments, I would say heating is one of the most common treatment done. Almost
Okay.
95% of rubies in the world are heat treated
Okay.
because
Okay.
you need to heat the stone to get the right
Really?
color out. Yeah,
Wow.
and it is acceptable by all the brands in the world, and
Okay.
all the top houses are actually accepting it and using it everywhere.
Okay.
So heating can, like, if you talk about heating,
Right.
heating of a ruby is done from 1300 degrees up to
Hmm.
1800 degrees Celsius, which is the levels of heating you do, the better the stone becomes,
Fair
and
enough.
the labs grade them in different categories. And while heating, if you make some other element in
Okay.
the stone, it can become a diffusion, it can become a kind of filling. So, then it becomes more different kind of grading of treatments what you do.
Correct.
Similarly, in rubies, Burmese rubies, it's any kind of ruby, it's the same treatment,
Right.
I would say. And it's nothing particular to Burmese ruby.
Right.
So the silk is
Hmm.
always there to, show that what kind of and what
Right.
origin of the stone is there.
Are on the certificate, is it always mentioned that the stone has been treated, whether it's heating or whether it's any kind of enhancement?
That's what I showed. Like if you're talking about this particular certificate, that's what I have here in GRS. If you can see,
Right.
so they put a comment here. I don't know if you're seeing it reversed, but it says that it is a no indication of thermal treatment,
Correct.
and they tested by particular FTIR testing. So
Okay.
this is where you should look at and understand what kind of
Okay.
treatment it has.
Okay. That's lovely.
Right. So if
Um,
there is any treatment there, they'll mention it that it is heat treated, and if it is treated with some kind of filling, so they'll write it there too.
okay. Since you've spoken to us about your family legacy, I would like to know about the special Burmese ruby jewelry that you guys have handcrafted.
Of course, I mean, I would love to share that. It was, see, in my family, where it all started was my grandfather who actually planted the roots from Jaipur,
Okay.
and my father and my uncle, they both, expanded our reach internationally, globally, with the kind of starting from cutting the gemstones and manufacturing fine jewelry, selling to major houses of the world, and then selling as a brand itself. And then we expertised ourselves in making one of a kind pieces and were dedicated in making only the finest of jewels.
Do remember seeing those finest of jewels at the show. And I would like to share that, I remember you giving me this beautiful catalog which has
Right.
all your
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
a kind jewels. Met you at the couture show, and trust me, each time when I go through this catalog, I'm always mesmerized by the quality and the craftsmanship of the jewels that you guys have.
See, we as a jeweler, we always try to keep ourselves kind of discreet because we
Okay,
love to create something which is unique, and
right,
we're not like people who would love to market what we do. We would
right.
like the person to actually come and see what we actually,
Okay, okay.
make, and the kind of dedication is gone behind making something like that.
Love for you to share about these spectacular jewels which your family has crafted.
Of course, why not? So let me show you something what I have here
Oh, sure, of
with
course.
this.
That's a treat
Yeah.
to us. I'm going to put the
But
comments off.
but actually, first let me talk to you about something what you're displaying here.
Okay, cool.
So it was somewhere what you're seeing here is one of the finest collection of Burmese rubies we have, starting from all 5 carats each and up. So in this earring, and there'll be a ring and a bracelet also. If you can show all them together, I'll talk to you about the
Okay,
whole story.
okay,
Yeah.
sure. I'll just put them all
So it,
together.
sure, one not one. Yep. So see, what you're seeing here is a suite which is a collection of 8 beautiful rubies from Burma, all certified from Gublin that they are from Mogok mines and they are natural Burmese no-heat rubies. So the one of the pieces in the earrings is a 5 carat ruby that was the first ruby that my grandfather bought. So this
Okay.
collection actually started almost 80 years ago now.
Wow. Okay.
And that was his first piece he bought. And then later, after a couple of decades, when my father and my uncle came into the business and they started going to Burma, they started finding similar stones. And the love towards rubies was always there because it was one of the best gemstones to be, to be a
Correct.
part of.
Correct. Correct.
So my uncle kept on going to Burma and he started adding certain stones. So what you see here in the bracelet are also all 4 to 5 carats natural Burmese rubies. And in, I think, few years back, we were able to finally get one of the best treats. That is the 10 carat no heat Burma ruby, which is in the ring right now.
Okay.
And it is one of the best pieces I would say we have. So altogether, this collection was something really special and one of a kind, what we have right now in the store, I would say that. Someone who would really appreciate to buy something like this would love to have everything together.
Wow.
Because
Amazing.
it is for someone who's a collector, not for someone who wants to just, trade on it or buy and sell it further.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
you don't find these kind of things so easily. And
I'm sure
it's like,
about that.
as I'm saying, it is like at least 40 years of collecting other stones and 80 years of collecting the first. Long time procedure because every piece is matching to each other in terms of color. You can never match an
Right.
inclusion of a ruby, but matching the
Correct.
color
The
is
color.
almost the biggest challenge. And finally,
Right.
we achieved it, and we were so happy to have it.
I would love to show the audience a close-up picture of the earring because both the oval-shaped rubies are so spectacular. They're just
Right. So, yes,
identical.
the kind
So
of cushionish oval. So
right.
one, what you're seeing is on the left is what my grandfather bought, and one what is you're seeing on the right is what was added later. See, it is almost impossible to match.
Correct.
Still, we
Yes.
were able to find something very, very close to it, and then we crafted this earring into it. The 10 carat is something which I would say is the icing of the best.
And this 10 carat, like how recent is this particular piece?
It was somewhere 3 years ago, I would say, where we actually had it, and but we were always trying to add more into it, and then but we finished the bracelet like I would say last few months back, just before the COVID started. Let me show you something where it all starts from. I'll flip my
Yes.
camera and I'll show you
Yes.
something here. So
Okay.
like this is all the Burmese stuff that we
Oh,
generally from Burma, and that's what we manufacture. And this is
wow.
something that is the unique shapes that we cut.
Okay.
Because if you can see closely that it is a paisley cut into a ruby, that is one of the most natural, and one of the
Right.
most organic shapes we work with. So we specialize in creating special cuts and different kind of stones.
These are cut with so much of precision. Beautiful.
Yeah, so see,
How? Yeah.
we were always inspired by the natural motifs and
Correct.
organic motifs and the Mughal era motifs. And since
Right.
then, we've been developing our jewelry with that art, with that kind of concepts, and
Beautiful.
that's how we always focus on developing our designs also. Show you that the best techniques that we do. So this is a
Oh,
necklace. We
okay.
call it a ruby magic necklace, and
Okay.
let me show you how and what it is exactly. So what I did was that I showed you a necklace which was in my fist, which is
Right.
weighing almost 40 grams. But this necklace has like it's a huge spread. And
Right.
what special thing about this is that when you see, there's hardly any metal on the stones, and
Right.
everything is finished even
Ooh.
at the back, and it is so
Okay.
light and diamonds. So you
Right.
don't see any metal and you only see diamonds all around.
Right.
So we do special
Can you
cuts of
hold it a little
diamonds.
closer? Okay. These are what rose cut diamonds, Pranay. We can't really see
So we
them
have,
clearly.
can you see it now? So we have three
Yeah.
different kinds of diamonds here.
Okay.
So we have a special cut flower trillion. We
Okay.
have
Okay.
diamond
Ooh.
briolets.
Okay.
We have these roundels, diamond roundels,
Okay.
and diamond rose cuts. So these are three different kind of cuts what we are doing. Something like this I would show is a design and
Oh
it's a
my
work in
God.
progress. So these are all
Okay.
natural Burmese rubies,
Okay.
and we're just finishing this pendant, still in progress, I would say. So these are all fine
Wow.
natural Burma rubies with natural Basra pearls.
Beautiful.
and it is a part of our collection we call Royale.
Right.
Right. So this is the collection that we cater to only important gemstones, classic gemstones, and convert them into fine art pieces. Like this is all natural Burmese rubies, more like pomegranate and pigeon's blood colors. So there's a combination of 2, 3 different colors. See, it is very difficult to, gather similar color. That's why you can see a little color difference here.
Right. So
Yeah.
I wanted to know that how long, like it took you to actually gather all these these gemstones and then to craft this beautiful necklace.
That particular necklace, it took us 1.5 years. This particular
Yes.
is a collection which takes, it is like buying and
Keep on
collecting a lot of
collecting,
gems and
buying,
cutting and then
Right.
rearranging them in different strands. And that's what we specialize with natural pearls too. I'll show you one more necklace we just finished with
Isn't it
all
so?
rare.
We are happy
Yeah.
to see as many necklaces as you want to show us.
This is again, it's just the lights are too bad. But here, if you see, it's all natural rubies with fine Basra pearls. Yeah. Each of piece, what you see here is a fine natural drop of Basra pearl with fine quality assorted round Basra pearl buttons around it and natural rubies, all natural, no heated rubies with diamond rose cuts.
Listen, how intricate is the craftsmanship of putting those natural pearls and those special cut diamonds? And also I cannot see much metal. So how difficult is this whole craftsmanship?
See, that is what we actually specialize,
Beautiful,
making
right?
fine pieces with a lot of time consumed behind, a lot of man hours gone behind, and dedicatedly working on one piece for a long time is what we really
Nice,
want to
nice.
do. And this is the passion that derives our brand, and we keep
I'm
creating
sure.
something new.
I'm sure. I'm
And
sure. Earrings, I can see between both the rubies, there's a ball of rose cut diamonds, or what is it? At the front side. Okay, it's the
so again,
natural
so it is a
pearl.
natural pearl, yeah, and then
Right.
around it are all the rose cut diamonds.
Okay.
So we are cutting ourselves all stones. Every stone what we have is cut under our own in-house factories in diamonds and even in rubies. So here what you see is that particularly I'll show you something what we called is the art of inlay. This is one of our pieces that is inspired by Mughal era as well. And
Okay.
we always used to, get the pieces cut in such a way that they have some gemstone stuck into another gemstone.
Okay. Can you hold a little
Yeah.
closer, Pranay, please? A little closer to
Sure.
yeah, yeah. Beautiful. It's phenomenal.
So this we almost started doing, I would say almost 20 years ago, this particular art.
20
And
years ago. Look at that
yeah,
carving. And is that a rock crystal, Pranay, with that
right. So
on the
that's a
base
rock
of
crystal
it?
quartz
Wow.
with an Australian opal and a gem emerald from Zambia.
This is spectacular.
Yep. So see that this was one of the collections that we were developing, and to come to something really special. And
Beautiful.
see, if you're coming to here, I can show you some of the finest collections of natural pearls that we do. Natural pearl again is a subject we can always talk in detail
Oh,
about, but
always,
this is some,
always.
yeah, this is
Wow,
something that
Pranay.
we've been collecting from ages, making the finest assortments, and then
Right.
this is something I would say is one of our passions too, to find the
I'm
rarest of the
sure.
pearls and collect them
Right.
together.
You showed us a tray with those special cut Burmese ruby, correct?
Right.
So I
Right.
want to ask you, how long does it take, to even craft one particular piece of petal?
No, that is not a time-consuming process. Of course, my skillsmen who actually cut these stones,
Right.
they work on one piece at a time. And if I have an order of making something for a special project,
Right.
so we stick to that project, and it can take up to making one piece can take up to like a day if you want to finish it some particular size, and or you can also finish 10 pieces in a day. So it depends upon what kind of size you're dealing with, what kind of thickness of the rough material you have. So like if the materials are a little thicker,
Yes.
you
Right.
need to find the right size first to make from the rough. What kind of
Okay.
measurements you have to make.
So with diamonds, we all have serene machines. That's how one can see that what carat weight of polish can be out. So likewise, when you guys are up crafting, You're
In
serious.
a gemstone, there till date I mean, there might be something which is coming out in Israel or somewhere, but so far, because a gemstone is something which you really need to see for every single time you touch it on the wheel, that what is
Okay.
happening. See, a
Okay.
diamond rough is much stronger.
Right.
Rubies are, see, diamonds are 10 on the Mohs scale. The Mohs scale is a
Correct.
scale which geologists use to measure the hardness of a stone.
Right.
Rubies are 9 on that scale.
Right.
So when you're manufacturing any rough, you have to always look at it while manufacturing it. That maybe while making, if I was thinking to make it as a pear shape, but I
Right.
still feel that I can make it as a rectangle. So I'll convert it into a rectangle. So no machine can actually judge
Wow,
that.
that's beautiful. So there's a question asked by Anju. What is your primary market? Do you have a presence in any international store under your name? And Surendra uncle has messaged, yes, it's under the name of Saboo Fine Jewels International. So,
Right. So see, Pat, that's where we are talking about right now. See, because in last couple of years, because of my uncle's creativity and the designs he's developed, we are
right,
able
right,
to come into certain markets, which is, I would say, one of the finest retail houses in the world. You can
of
say it is
course,
Bergdorf Goodman,
of
Neiman
course.
Marcus, a lot of
Yes,
royal houses in the Middle Eastern countries.
right.
So, even in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Kuwait,
Wow,
Bahrain, we
beautiful.
are having a presence.
Right. So, Pranay, I'm really looking forward to like coming to you and to seeing all these spectacular pieces because I'm sure that when I hold those pieces in my hand, like the whole beauty and the feel of the pieces are going to be something really spectacular.
Thank you. Of course, I mean, it is always a pleasure, in that way. But I have a piece I would love to show also.
Of
This
course,
is one
of
of the
course.
finest collections we've had so far, and I would say it's a treasure come true. One
Okay.
second, let me just flip the camera.
I'm going to put the comments off in the meantime so people can see it.
Sure.
Oh, I love the way you're just revealing that piece.
So what you see here is a fine gem natural Basra pearl collection of
Beautiful. Oh my
drops
God.
and round buttons, all
Right.
matching in same color with the same intensity and the same saturation.
Mhm.
Finished recently, and they're all natural from Bahrain, Gulf of Bahrain.
And I can see them, they're all spectacular sizes, such
Yes.
fine
So,
detailing.
see, these are all natural diamonds, uncut old diamonds set together to give it a little royal feel.
It's really beautiful.
And see, collecting natural pearls is again another passion what we do,
Okay,
and
okay,
so this is something what I would say that you can never, you know, gather in one day, or even if you want to find,
absolutely.
you cannot find in one day. A lot of
Oh,
treasure
for
hunting goes
sure.
behind this.
Let me
Thank
see if
you.
there is any. There was an interesting question asked by Pooja. She asked that are certification faked?
Yes, it is a very easy thing to answer. Of course, certificates are faked. But what
Okay.
I know is a lot of jewelers in this industry are already aware about it. Even the consumers are aware about it. And we, as a practice,
Mm-hmm.
the ethics of the business always let us do the right thing. And by declaring it what we are
Correct.
doing, right?
Correct.
Anything can be faked, I mean, it is just a paper,
Fair
and
enough.
faking a paper is as good as faking a mark sheet. So that is done by a student in 11th standard also. So there's nothing to do with that.
So one has to be absolutely careful, of course, to like procure these
So
gemstones from the reliable
what I
source.
mentioned earlier,
Yes.
yes, what I mentioned earlier is that make sure the certificate is of a recent date. That gives
Okay.
you kind of an
Mm-hmm.
authenticity. Go for
Right.
certain labs that could be GRS, SSCF,
Okay.
Gublin,
Okay.
uh, and from different countries. So if you have a lab in your country, just
Right.
check about it and then go for it. Right.
So there's a
Right.
question by Miloni. She wants to know, is pigeon blood red the most expensive?
I would not say it's the most expensive because I've seen a beautiful pink ruby in the trade, and it is much more
Okay.
expensive than compared to.
Oh,
See, it is a
really?
personal choice.
Oh,
In
yeah. Right.
China, in Europe, in America, in India, everyone has a
Right.
different kind of natural light in the
Correct.
sky. Because of
Correct.
that, the same stone can look different in 4 different countries. And then
Correct.
what color you like is up to your own eyes. So if I like
Mm-hmm.
something which is a nice, pleasant pink, I would give
Right.
more money than a deeper
Right.
red color, which is probably a
Okay.
pigeon blood color. So it's
Right.
up
Right.
to the personal choice. The consumer mentality is like this, that they believe that if the certificate says the pigeon's blood color is the
Right.
best color, I wouldn't say
Ah.
no. agree
Correct,
it. I mean, I
correct.
would
Yeah.
agree with it. I mean, it is up
Yeah.
to you. You have to actually look at the
Fair
gemstone to
enough.
be able to decide is
Yeah.
it worth it or not.
Yeah. I read that there is a gemstone market which takes place out there. So, can you talk to us
Yes.
about the gemstone market?
So I think you have a picture here, which I
Yes,
sent to you earlier.
yes. Let me just place
That is
it.
the
I'll
one of
just,
the markets. But
yes.
this, yeah. So see, these are all the miners who
Okay,
actually, or the brokers who actually get the rough from the source and from the mines, and then they display it on the tables. And it's like a street market. And how you
okay.
can go and buy food in streets in India
Correct.
is the same way you can go and buy gemstones or rough
Wow.
rubies in Burma. And
Okay.
they're all different qualities. Most of them is commercial
Right.
quality, so it
I'm sure
tends to
about
be
that.
for, yeah, which has to be treated or enhanced, then
Okay.
only they can be used. Not that
Okay,
easy
okay.
to find a gem ruby in this way. Gem
Beautiful.
ruby comes out very secretly, very discreetly,
Really?
and it comes to the only people who actually are going to buy it, not everyone.
The very interesting question asked that can you suggest a particular book on rubies so we can read to increase our knowledge?
I would love to share. There's a book written by Richard W. Hughes,
Okay.
great author and writer, and he's written a book on ruby and sapphire.
Okay.
I love the book. I love his studies because he had great experience of his time, and the intensity of what he shared there is something which you would love to read.
So, Pranay, it was a lovely, insightful chat to know about Burmese Ruby and also to know about your family legacy. And of course, it's been very kind of you to show us all these spectacular jewels. They were a real treat to us. Really love to extend my gratitude to your entire family, to you, to Surendra uncle, to your father, and everybody, and to all the
See,
audience for
we are a family business, and
oh
because
yes,
of my brother, I'm here. Because of my uncle, it's my
I'm
father. So we
sure.
all intact with each other, and that's
I'm
how the
sure.
family business. Yes, and the jewelry industry itself, if is very family based industry.
It's totally,
Every
totally.
jeweler becomes the next jeweler is a part of the family already.
For sure, for sure.
Right.
So
Right.
thank you so much once again for all your expertise and for all your time. And take care.